Hello, folks. So today I thought, I'm creating new series actually because I think that it's important to, it's important to understand the basics because at the end of the day with astrology, it's really just basics and your intuition. We can study astrology forever. I mean, because there's so much depth to it and there's so many different branches and all that, but you need the basics to be solid. So I'm going to dig deeper into conjunctions, and today I'm going to focus on the moon, which is the most important reference point when reading a chart. And it is the most sensitive energy, so important to understand how it's functioning in your chart, right? So let's talk about the moon conjunctions. Now, if you don't know which conjunctions you have with the moon, please go to the chart calculator on my website, and it will tell you which planets are conjunct moon in your chart. Yes? First, we will try to understand what is the moon, right? Chandrama is a name given to moon in Sanskrit, meaning reflective force, meaning sun sends out rays of light and moon reflects it back. Moon signifies our emotions, our mind, our thoughts. Because the moon waxes and wanes, it is always fluctuating, similar to our thoughts and our emotions. It's changeable. It's a sensitive placement in our chart. Moon is your response to life's experiences, your perception. Perception is, as we say, stronger than reality, right? Moon is our desires. If you notice, we normally get what we desire. Maybe not what we not when we want it, but we do get what we want eventually. Of course, some desires get fulfilled at a high cost, right? Is what we ask for good for us? Do we even care? Do we just want what we want and that's that? Is it better to get what you want or what you need? How emotional are you? How easily do you get stressed, anxious, nervous, reactive? How easy is it to influence you? That's all the moon. All of these things are under the domain of the moon placement in your chart. Emotions are shunned upon by the logical, rational mind. But you can also use emotions to your benefit, right? They're important. Like if you see logic in everything, life will become mundane, dry, and you won't be able to receive amazing things. The end of logic is the beginning of miracles, the beginning of magic. Visualize what you want. Ask for guidance. Use mantra, use meditation. Get rid of the rubbish in your life. Could be in the form of outdated thoughts, things you don't use, people that are not good for you, whatever it is. Don't allow yourself to be influenced by everything and anything. Be firm in your desires. Steer clear of anything that goes against this. Your own negative self-talk is actually the worst culprit, right? Keep to yourself if necessary. Have an intention, a desire, but make sure it's a pure intention. Pure doesn't mean like, is it good for me or not good for me? No, pure is here. How I mean is that it's not riddled with doubts, worries, right? There's no counter intentions. It's just a simple, pure intention. That's like very important, right? And then what you have to after that, you just have to let go and trust, right? Believe in magic, believe in miracles. And this is all down to the power of the moon placement in your chart. Is it receiving positive aspects by other planets, negative ones, sitting with malefics? Now, moon doesn't consider anyone an enemy, but even sitting with its friends, Sun and Mars, it doesn't necessarily benefit us, right? They're both Agni Tattva. So ideally, you want the moon to be alone in a house or with benefics. And if it's alone, you don't want it to be completely alone. So you want planets one sign ahead and maybe one sign behind, right? But let's face it, right? The majority of us will not have Moon sitting alone or without negative influences, right? So it's important to practice remedies. As usual, pranayama, retreats to switch off and go within, fasting rituals, home-cooked meals, baths, soothing music, practice silence, drink lots of water. All right, so let's discuss some effects of when Moon makes conjunction with other planets in your chart. And of course, in jyotish, we take the full house, right? Like Moon might be sitting at 2 degrees and another planet might be sitting at 29 degrees. That's still in conjunction. So let's start with Moon-Saturn. Toughie, this one, right? I would say this is probably one of the most difficult conjunctions, period, but certainly with the Moon. It's interesting as we can get some clues from astronomy as well, right, on how these planets interact. Saturn's beautiful rings are not just pieces of comets and asteroids, but rather shattered moons, ripped apart due to their closeness to Saturn. Millions of years ago, Saturn had a moon 400 kilometers away, orbiting too close to Saturn to resist the immense force of Saturn's gravity, the tidal force. Now, based on a leading theory, a ring formed because the moon got too close to Saturn and therefore got ripped into pieces. Before the moon could reach Saturn, it was torn apart by its powerful gravitational force. And the materials from the moon spun around Saturn until it formed this beautiful, iconic ring. The materials, due to its sheer speed, started to spin, circle around Saturn until it formed that ring, right? And it only took days to form that ring. So this is destruction of the moon, and this process resulted in the beautiful rings around Saturn. It's interesting because in contrast, the moons that orbit Jupiter are overpowering, and they quickly destroy rings that form. Isn't it interesting? Jupiter does have rings around it, but not like Saturn's. So this transformation of the moon has resulted in the jewel of the solar system, which is Saturn. Even in astrology, we see Saturn's impact on the moon as the most noticeable, transforming its core essence. Moon-Saturn conjunction, you are here to completely transform. Completely. Unrecognizably. Resulting in a whole new entity. And a whole new admirable entity. In your chart with Saturn's proximity to your moon, you can feel at times that you've been ripped apart by life's painful lessons. You may feel pessimistic and you may have low confidence. This is especially impactful before your mid to late 30s, right? Because that's when Saturn matures, from 36 to 39. There's a tendency to think that you're not worth the good bits in life. In a way, it's useful in the sense that you don't get carried away with the illusions of life, right? Certainly if you meet Moon conjunct Saturn people, they're very realistic, grounded. You're also very conservative with your emotions and can be bottled up. In fact, you can cut yourself off completely from emotional connections at times. There is difficult karma with the mother. There could have been a lack of nurturing from the mother figure. Lack of care, lack of nurturing. It tends to be common with this placement. So you can feel emotionally starved. in your younger years especially, right? A feeling that you're not getting your needs met somehow. Perhaps there was childhood trauma. At the very least, mother may have been cold and distant. Sometimes the distance is because she's always at work and she's busy. You know, it could be that also. And as a result, you can be cold yourself in close, intimate relationships, or you could hang on to distant, cold partners that are not good for you or that are not good to you. It's hard for you to let go, actually. It's hard for you to let go and move on. And you would rather like lower your expectations than change your situation. You're strict and disciplined on others and on yourself. You see the reality in life, right? And therefore you're prepared for the worst. And sometimes you bring that on yourself with those expectations, right? One thing to say though, that there are many saints and yogis with this conjunction. Like Swami Vivekananda had this conjunction. Not surprising, right? So if you're on the spiritual path, this conjunction will help elevate you spiritually. I've also found that those who have this conjunction, they say that meditation is vital for them. And it helps to manage it tremendously. Other things to consider, pranayam, Kali Puja, good one for this conjunction. And be particular about what you read, what you eat, like just what you consume. Anything that you consume, right? Because moon signifies matter, like food also. It also signifies property, home, domestic life, conveyances, cars. So here there will be delays in meeting your material goals pertaining to these matters. Obstacles will be present. Moon with Saturn can mean instability in career life. And growth can be slow. You have great resilience and you can work long hours. Better to do your own thing with this conjunction. If you can bring purity to this place, like self-love, it will be easier to manage. When the moon collides with Saturn, the mind can become fearful and expect the worst case scenario. The mind feels limited, scared to take chances. You can also have very dark thoughts, right? It's called Vish Yoga. It's called Vish Yoga. Vish means poison. It can create bitterness in the heart. But to understand, as usual, like it depends on how the whole chart is functioning for you, right? This conjunction has also been called the Shiv Shakti Yoga. As Parvati had to die, transform into a goddess to be reunited with Shiv, you know? It's a conjunction that will push you to your limit, so you cannot be in a position to settle for crumbs. That's its higher vibration, right? It's trying to take you in that direction. It depends on what, you know, whether you will allow it to happen. It also depends on, are you getting Moon Dasha, are you getting Saturn Dasha for that to occur? It's very important with this conjunction to surround yourself with positive people. Because you can be influenced easily. How about Moon conjunct Jupiter? Now, what about the astronomy with Jupiter and its moons? Jupiter actually should have more impressive rings because it's larger than Saturn, right? But here, ring formation was prevented due to the sheer size of Jupiter's moons. They're simply too large, right? Specifically, there are 4 big moons orbiting around Jupiter, preventing the formation of rings. These moons would quickly destroy any rings that were to form. They create enough disturbance to prevent dust to settle around the planet. So here the moon, being just too large, can be seen as the impact of this conjunction, right? So Jupiter's presence with the moon in your chart, it can augment the emotions, thoughts, enhance them in a positive way for your benefit. There is a belief that all is well. And if it's not well, it will be well. Jupiter-Moon conjunction. There's an innate optimism in you if you have this conjunction. Jupiter will expand the positivity. There's a feeling of divine protection as well, divine intervention with this placement. You will look for the good in any situation and you will try to find that silver lining. You will feel protected here from outward influences and from harm. Even in the toughest times, you believe you will overcome. This, of course, is the Gaj-Kesari Yoga, right, that we speak about. And depending on where it takes place, it will bring wealth, prosperity, good health, good relationships, and abundance. Normally, of course, the Gaj-Kesari Yoga gets modified in most people's chart, right? Either there will be a retrograde Jupiter, there might be malefics aspecting or conjuncting with the moon Jupiter. So it's a very common yoga, but it's not so common in its purity. You gravitate toward learning, toward knowledge, and this conjunction will give you good ethics and principles. Education, knowledge will come to you easily, and you have a constant thirst for knowledge. You have the ability to heal others with just a talk, with just a touch, with just a smile. This placement can give a lot of changes of residence in your life, right? Because it's the natural 4th and 9th Lord combining. Traveling, you can travel a lot with this one. Having property in foreign lands is beneficial with this signature. There can be, however, emotional imbalances, especially with the mother. Having a guru is beneficial with this placement. It's a good signature to do something unique and something that is of benefit to society. It's also a good conjunction for creative endeavors as well as property matters. It's a combination that will elevate you spiritually, especially in water signs. Travel, higher education, having a guru, any 9th house significations can bring favorable outcomes and luck in life. Moon-Rahu conjunction. Well, this is a little bit complex, right? Moon is our mind, Rahu is the outcast. With this conjunction, you can feel different from others. Family, friends in some ways. Or you can become an outcast when you experience Rahu Dasha because of your actions. You have to see the dignity of the moon. Is it in good dignity? Then it's a great signature for wealth, and you will have a sharp mind. But here you can be fearful of things that have no basis. Anxiety, depression, dark thoughts can be there. Not usually long-term though, like Moon and Saturn can be long-term. Basically your emotions and thoughts are being amplified by Rahu. Lack of maternal nourishment can be there. Mother cannot be available, or maybe she's not a good mother. Early life can hold painful memories. But despite this, you will want to be close to your mother and spend a lot of time with her. Boundaries are difficult with this placement, and this can be with the mother as well. The mother can overstep boundaries. Once you hit your 40s, this conjunction loses much of its power, but can continue to trouble you when you experience Moon or Rahu dashas. This conjunction can make you prone to addictions, as this can make the mind more vulnerable to negativity. The potential to take leaps, to take risks is here. But you can be indecisive, and you can overthink opportunities. There is self-doubt with this placement, which can lead to depression and anxiety. The extent to which this happens, of course, depends on the dignity of the moon, again, right? You will need to make quick decisions because with Rahu, opportunities will come quickly but also disappear quickly. Extremely important to practice pranayama to manage this energy, right? Mind becomes very restless here. Controlling your breath with pranayama can help to manage that mind. And then you can harness the good bits of this conjunction, right? You can take Rahu toward positivity. Take guidance from those that you trust because there's a lack of clarity there, and it can just be due to excessive overthinking. There is excessive overthinking with this conjunction. Analysis leads to paralysis, right? This is the conjunction where that is certainly true. Your thoughts keep replaying in circles. They keep going round and round, causing mental stress due to unlimited desires. It could be. There can be emotional instability as well. You may tend to eat too much or not the right things. Similar to Ketu Moon, you can see or feel other worldly entities and ghosts. And similar to Ketu Moon, this placement can give psychic tendencies. So do enforce healthy boundaries. That's important with Moon-Rahu conjunction. Stay away from substances as that can really adversely affect the mind. And again, very important to surround yourself with positive people. With this one too, yeah. Moon conjunct Ketu. This is another toughie. This is a difficult conjunction. I think probably slightly more than Rahu Moon. Ketu is mokshakaraka, so here it will cause deep disturbances. As Moon is desire-seeking, pleasure-seeking, and therefore it will focus on experiences. But Ketu will cut off the experiences, right? Ketu's inclination is to cut off that which the mind seeks. You have an eccentric mind, and in some cases the mind can be very sharp, actually, with this conjunction. There can be mental health problems, however, anxiety, moodiness, fears, phobias can be there. These come from other lifetimes as well. You might be replaying stuff from before that you don't, you don't know where it's coming from, but it could be from other lifetimes, not just this one. People can find you very hard to understand. Yeah. You're carrying past life karma, especially with your mother, but also with relationships, intimate relationships. Mother can be interfering here or not interested in your life at all, one extreme or another at times. Loss of mother can be there. Separation from mother can be there with this Moon-Ketu conjunction. Clinginess with the mother can also be there. There's a love-hate relationship with the mother, actually. At the least, she has a very deep impact on you, right? Whether it's positive or negative, there's a deep impact. Moon is disconnected here. There's an inability at times to take decisions. Like you can feel frozen, like at times, stuck. Spirituality is necessary. If Jupiter aspects here, that's very good, right? This can completely change your perspective. Guidance is important in any case to ensure that you're on the right path. You can feel it if someone doesn't like you, or is thinking about you, or is plotting against you. Boundary is important because you can pick up others' energies easily, and you can absorb their negativity as well, right? You can speak in codes at times, and therefore you tend to be difficult for others to understand. but you understand what you're saying in your code language. Emotions are hard to express for you. You tend to be spaced out. You appear to be disconnected, but nonetheless, you can be very much present. You just appear that way. There's a tendency to see your thoughts as if they're not your own. And this is a very good thing for meditation. As such, this conjunction is great for spiritual elevation, right? Provided it's not occurring in air signs. It's not going to do well there. In air signs, it can cause a lot of mental problems. Similar to Rahu Moon, this placement can result in being dissatisfied with experiences, leading to negative emotions. Ketu, of course, gets associated with the 8th house, right? Ruler of Scorpio. So this conjunction can make you very self-destructive as well. You can do things to jeopardize the good things in your life or make things harder for yourself. You'll be good in research and you have a knack for understanding minute details in a situation. You can be good in mathematics as well. Life can move in circles for you with seemingly no end and no beginning. Watch for impulsive decisions. They can result in regrets. There's a feeling with this conjunction that you want to go home, but like you don't know where your home is, right? In fact, it's actually very good to live away from your birth country with this placement. Important to do physical activity with this conjunction. Exercise, walking, whatever it is, right? Rudra Puja is effective here. Any Shiv Puja, any mantra, adopting a small animal. Very important to surround yourself with positive people. Similar to Moon-Rahu and similar to Moon-Saturn. So, let's talk about Moon conjunct Venus. Now, this may seem like a very pleasant conjunction, but there can be a lack of inner harmony with this one, as Venus is about give and take, transactional love and attention, whereas Moon is about emotional love. So there's an inner conflict, and this is going to play out in relationships. Either you're giving too much, or you're being too restrained, right? This position can also lead to emotional imbalances and can bring confusion in relationships. You can be overly sensitive in relationships. That is something that I've seen a lot with Moon-Venus conjunction. Like if you don't receive the attention and love that you're looking for from one person, you might go somewhere else. You'll quickly look elsewhere, right? At times it's because your expectations are unrealistic. Usually with this conjunction, you can avoid relationship in younger years, or maybe you're not prioritizing relationships. Especially if this Moon-Venus is aspected by a malefic planet. You can also be overly sensitive and cling on to criticisms. So be cautious of choosing a good life partner here, right? This conjunction will most likely delay marriage, especially if it's aspected by a malefic. There can be fluctuation in relationships. Some circumstances, there can be a lot of short-term attractions. It could be relationship starts great, but then you lose interest. This is why we don't like Venus in Cancer either, right? Or, in this case, conjunct the moon. Because here you may always be looking for the right person. So, generally you have good social skills and you enjoy others' company. In fact, you can always be making new friends and connections with this placement. There's a feeling that you're special and you want to feel special. You're into beautiful things. You appreciate the finer things. You're cultured. You have a pleasant demeanor. And you appreciate this in others as well. You like to be around people who are well put together. Your home and environment is very important to you. You place a lot of importance on peaceful and beautiful home surroundings. Similarly, you will appreciate beautiful things, arts, crafts, nice clothes, jewelry. And you will value them, and you will take care of them. In fact, your peace of mind can like be dependent on those like Venetian pleasures. This includes good food as well, right? In fact, important to have meals together with this conjunction if you're in a partnership. So you and your significant other, important. Because if you're doing that, that's going to bring out the positive character of this conjunction, right? This conjunction is a signature for wealth through self-effort, through others. When it comes to money, it can also give extreme results, like from struggling to having too much. And this placement will certainly bring prosperity through marriage partner, right? You can also gain through other women. The relationship with a mother can be very good, or it can be very bad. See if this conjunction is getting benefic or malefic aspect. Watch also to have strong boundaries with the mother, as well as your in-laws, as well as your life partner. Watch for mental health, because you can be overly emotional, or on the other hand, very restrained and cold. So how about Moon conjunct Mars? Now we know that they're friends, right? So what happens when they come together? Moon is like our mind, our emotions. Mars is energy. In its rawest form, it's energy. So this conjunction can give high willpower. It can make you stubborn. You are a high achiever. You are passionate. A well-endowed Mars will make you a fighter, an athlete, a warrior. Moon Mars also makes you very emotional, and there can be anger issues with this conjunction. Though you do have a good heart. Yeah, you're focused, ambitious, charismatic, confident, and fearless. You will be good in technical fields, such as engineering, mathematics. You can have an active mind. So it's important to manage this in a healthy way, right? As this can lead to like anger bursts, irritability, frustration. You can lack patience with those that can't keep up with you. So seek out like sports, physical activity to like harmonize this, right? You can be bullied, or you may bully others to get your way. Lack of mental focus can be there if it's not a dignified placement, because you can be distracted and you're always thinking about your next move, your next plan, right? If well placed, then it's an uplifting conjunction, and it can make you fearless. If you have no support from others, your sheer willpower will escalate you in your life, right? You don't accept defeat easily. You'll fight, lose, win, but not give up. You will not give in to adversities and let them define you. You keep going, and you have a never say never attitude. This is also called the Chandra Mangal Yoga, and is good for gaining wealth. If Mars is dignified, then it's a powerful connection for gains, for property, for all types of wealth. Moon is security and sustenance, and Mars will give this a push. It is especially good for business people. You can make good property deals with this signature. In marriage, however, this conjunction can cause some problems, right? In fact, for choosing a life partner, your energy should match. Like your emotional wavelength should match with the Moon-Mars conjunction. There'll be a lot of movement in life, travel, moving home. Family life can feel disruptive, and for some it can be chaotic, especially in your early years. There is strong karmic bond with the brothers. Usually it is a supportive link between you. You can have had early upbringing where fights, arguments could have been common to solve problems in your domestic sphere, right? You may try to undo all that you were taught in your early years and question decisions made by your parents, especially your mother. And in fact, it is best to leave behind these mental imprints in order to rise in life. Relationship with mother can feel disturbed. She can be passive-aggressive in her expression. She can also be difficult and controlling. There can be power struggles with the mother. In relationships generally, you can be fiery, moody, impulsive. Sometimes people are fearful as they don't know what you'll do next. because you can be quite unpredictable and impulsive. You can at times like cut people off completely and not look back. And thus you can be viewed as hard, like a badass sort of thing. But you're tough and you're resourceful and you'll find solutions to problems. You're also good at protecting and defending others, right? So not just yourself. And you'll come to the aid of those who are somehow like helpless or weaker than you. Moon conjunct Sun. So what is this? This is essentially Amavasya, right? It's a dark moon. So thinking can be negative. And here the sun, which is the fire, can dry out the emotions completely. There can be depression with this placement as well, right? It's a dark moon. You have a strong personality. Your soul and mind are usually in harmony. You're independent, you're assertive, you can be impatient, however. You can make a good leader, but can be irritable if other people don't follow. You don't interact easily with others and can often feel misunderstood, be misunderstood. You tend to be reactive and overly emotional about situations in your life. This placement can lead one to be in authoritative positions as well. You can be devoted to your career, your business. Relationships can be difficult as you don't really relate easily to others. This placement can indicate a very domineering father who makes decisions where the mother plays a more subdued role. And thus, this could have led to a difficult childhood in some ways. It's a good conjunction for spiritual growth. It can be one or the other with you. Like either you move completely toward materialism or spirituality. You will, later in life, likely move towards spirituality, away from family, money, assets. This placement can bring fame and notoriety. You can be recognized for your actions in some way. Seva, important for this conjunction. Rudra Puja, listening to Rudra Puja on Mondays, also good. Moon conjunct Mercury. Well, with this one, mind can feel agitated and restless. There's overthinking. There's overthinking, leading to mental stress. Moon is limitless. Mercury is boundaries. You may focus too much on logic here, neglecting your emotions, or the other way around. Mind is overstimulated with Moon conjunct Mercury. You're constantly changing your mind, your views, leading to a lack of stability with this conjunction. You can also be indecisive. It's hard for you to commit to one path because the mind wanders so much, right? You are, however, quick on your feet, and you're good at reading others' minds. You have like a big appetite for learning new subjects, and you remain curious throughout your life. You can excel with mathematics, technical professions. You're good at solving problems. And this is a good placement for accumulating wealth. You can have a lot of friends, networks, know people in high places with this one. But this conjunction can lead to dissatisfaction in the domestic environment. Make sure your environment is peaceful, clean, and practice good hygiene. And relaxation also important with this. De-stressing, self-care, that's important with this conjunction. So that's all for now, folks. Cheers.